Welcome back to another video. This week then, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a full winter sort of deep clean, really make sure we're getting all those areas that maybe you're missing those contactless washes, or you're not really getting that agitation and everything in that deep clean you're really after. So we're covering that this week. We'll get right into it. Like I mentioned then, this week we're going to be doing a deep clean. So we're going to be doing a full, wheel clean, pre-treatment on those wheels, and then a snow foam with the rest of the car. They'll be getting a full dedicated cleaning process, which we'll go through as well. Using a cleaner before, like I said, a foam. They'll be getting a full contact wash, agitation. We'll clean brake calipers and everything. We'll be doing wheel faces, wheel barrels, the whole lot. So to start then on the clear coat and on the paint, what we'll be doing after the wheel cleaning, we'll be doing a full pre-wash. We'll then be rinsing off with a pressure washer. We'll then head over to the contact wash, which will probably use a snow foam application as well to use the contact soap. It's one of the things I like to do. You seem to get that better lubrication and that sudsy and foaminess and everything that you like to see, and I like to feel while I'm washing the car over a bucket soap, basically, like a Bilk Timber auto wash. If you're applying a snow foam, that's my preference to do a contact wash. We'll be doing a full contact wash. We'll then be pressure washing that off once again. What we're going to do in our case then, because we've got it available to us, or I do, is we're going to be doing a deionized water rinse. And then that just ensures that we don't have to do contact drying or anything like that, and gives us the best possible finish without water spotting. So with that said then, and a quick rundown of the method we're going to use today, we'll get outside, get set up, and we'll get into it. So what we're going to do as normal then, I'm just going to have a look at the condition at car. As you can see, this week it's as bad as ever. A pre-wash condition, plenty of traffic film, still some mag chloride and salts and everything about on the roads at the minute. These front wheels especially, and brake calipers, absolutely blathered at the minute. Similar story down here on the other side then, and you can see plenty of dirt, little people finger marks, and some wheels that are absolutely blathered. Tyres as well this side are dirty, so we're going to tyres a good clean as well today. Getting those brake calipers with the brushes and everything, give those a clean, get it looking back as it should be. So in terms of wheel cleaners, with condition of them today then, what we're going to do is first, we're going to hit them with an APC. In this case we're going to use Auto Glim's APC. All pre-mixed, ready up and everything. I've had this ages. It's one of those things that if I don't make an effort and use it for something, I just won't use it. I like to dilute and make my own different products at different strengths, spray bottles, foam pumpers, those sorts of things. So when you've got something like this, I don't end up using it. They obviously have the pros for people who don't like to do that or just want to buy something ready to use, but the con to that is they can be very expensive as an alternative. So we'll get this on first, apply a foam over the top. We'll let that dwell and do its thing. We'll then rinse it off, give it a full contact wash. That's APC on then, 12 paid in dwell time and everything, make sure we get most out of it. We'll now put the pre-wash over it, let that dwell and then get it rinsed off. So we're right up there in dwell time now. We'll get this off and then we'll get on the contact wash on the wheels. Right, we've got a wheel bucket all set up then. In here we've got a normal wheel brush. We've got a tyre brush, and we've also got a sort of detailing brush doing lug nuts and things in more intricate areas, so we'll get on with that now, see how they come out. That's one wheel done then. Barrels, faces, everything, tyres done, lug nuts, all spotless. You can eat your dinner off that now, lovely and clean. We'll do the same for all 4 of them now, and then we'll get on with the pre-wash. Right then, as I mentioned before, all 4 wheels, we've done that now. Wheels, tyres, brake calipers, everything, all cleaned up, nice, all ready to go. What we're going to do now is put the pre-wash on the car, let that dwell, sort of 3-5 minutes. We should get away with today right at top end with weather being on our side. It's not so cold, bit of wind about, but no direct sunlight or anything, so that should help us get up there in dwell time. So we'll do a full pressure washer rinse once we've done that, and then we'll look at reapplying a foam, getting a contact wash done, another rinse with normal water again, and then we'll look at doing that deionized final water rinse. So we've gone all the way around car then. We've got sort of 30% foam left, which should be good enough for going back over that afterwards for a contact wash soap, so that's fine. We'll get majority of it on now, let it do its thing, give it a rinse, and then for contact washing you don't need that coverage. Just the same, you're fine. With a little less coverage when you're using that contact wash mitt, that's absolutely no problems. Just a quick demo to show you then. Basically, no matter what pre-wash you're using, you can see a bit of sun coming through. Difference in hydrophobics, sort of top to bottom half of the panel on the doors, where we're not getting that absolutely ideal water behaviour. So it doesn't matter what snow foam pre-wash you're using, whatever. We've used the daddy of all pre-washes today. Is it better than the other washes we've had? Maybe, possibly. Is it still what you'd want for doing that real nice deep clean? Getting this thing the best it can be? No, it isn't. You can still see the separation here and the water behaviour difference, where this has still got traffic film on and everything. So we'll get on with the contact wash now and get this as good as it can be. That's another thin layer of snow foam put on then. Be perfectly adequate for doing a contact wash. You'll still get a lot better lubrication and everything than you would otherwise with a normal contact wash soap in a bucket. So we'll get on with that now. So that's second rinse done after that contact wash then. We'll get the DI water system all looked up now. Give that a final going over. Right then, we've just finished with the final rinse today, which is the deionised water. Freshly filled the tank up, hooked all that up, been over everything, total, you know, same as you would with a rinse in essence. Just make sure you cover every panel, getting all nooks, crannies, any gaps where water usually likes to be held, sort of ink, glass ink wind mirrors in between doors and everything, all the usual places. Make sure you give that a good rinse out. So that's it for the wash process. We'll get all packed away, we'll get back in garage. So this is us post wash then. We've been over with the DI water as I mentioned before. So you can see hydrophobic behaviour is back all across that rear glass. No issues, no separation or anything. We can see clear where the dirt has or hasn't been. It's all cleaned up nice. All the dirt, film, road salts and everything completely gone. Obviously it's still a bit wet. Don't give you the absolute best representation, but you can tell by the water spotting and everything on these areas that the hydrophobics are back from the contact angles. These panels aren't just flooded as they were before. Even after the pre-wash and rinse, those panels were flooded. So doing that contact wash, we brought that ceramic coating back out, showing its full life. So that's what we're looking at. Just got nice hydrophobics, as you'd expect. Wheels are now lovely and clean, wheels and tyres. Need to go out and get those brake discs cleaned up, but apart from that, got these Brembo calipers back to shiny red compared to what they were before. Like I say, we'll get the car out, we'll go clean those brake discs up and everything. Wheels are popping now compared to what they were before. So no issues there. Absolutely everything's gone, like I mentioned before. Contact angles and everything on the water that's now sat on the panel. Nice hydrophobics, they're all back. Nice shiny calipers. Right, that's us then. We're back in the garage. We've done the full winter wash process, which is, you know, when I'm saying it's a winter wash, it's just when you're looking for absolute best results. If you're doing those contactless washes, maybe in between, we've shown before, depending on what sort of foams you're using, are you going for a totally neutral one? Are you going to really step it up there? We'll look at others in future as to how good you can actually get that. But for now, we're going with a what do you actually need to do to get really good results, as though you've got a fresh, clean car, you know, real high quality wash, real nice finish. So you're bringing back that fleck and that gloss and everything in the paint when you have a bit of sunshine out like we've had intermittently today from that machine polishing we did last year. It's real nice to see that again in between. So realistically then, this is what you've got to do in these full winter months when the car's absolutely blathered in dirt, traffic film, you know, road salts, mag chloride, diesel, all those sorts of things. If you don't go this far, you're not going to get the absolute best finish. So obviously today we started with the wheels. We've gone with just with a general APC that we're trying to use up, that we've got lying around in Auto Glim's all-purpose cleaner. So that's done a really good job actually, wheels and tyres. You know, you could see straight away it pulling it off. You know, after letting it dwell for a few minutes, all that muck and everything that were ingrained in the tyres, all that brake dust and stuff, real released off, real nice. Give that a rinse, got rid of the worst of it, then did a full contact wash. Wheel faces, barrels, tyres and everything, give those a rinse off. So we then applied a full pre-wash to the car. We've let that dwell for, you know, as long as we could really, with a bit of wind about today. So as it was sort of running off the panels today, in between, we were sort of just starting to get little dry patches, so maybe didn't get as long as we absolutely could have done, or wanted to, but we've left it as long as we could all the same without, you know, getting any streaking issues or anything. So we've got that rinsed off. We've then reapplied, you know, foam quite sparingly, gone in, done the contact wash as you normally would. We've then given it another rinse just with the pressure washer as normal. What we've done then is afterwards, which we haven't done for a little while or seen doing and talked about it so much, but I generally always keep it in my process, we've hooked the DI water system up that we've shown on the channel before and give it a final rinse over. Basically what you're doing while you're doing that is you'd go over it as though you're pressure washing a snow foam off, go over every inch of it, make sure you try and get in all those nooks and crannies. So those places that like to retain water, that's always a good idea to get really into those wing mirror glasses, vents, grills, those sorts of things. Give those a good going over. Make sure you get over everything, and then you've no contact drying to do after that, and no worries about water spotting or streaking or anything. This isn't like a full deep clean. You're not going above and beyond what you would normally be in terms of just a full, you know, normal contact wash and the, depending on how many buckets you're using, 2-3 buckets. Today obviously we've used a wheel bucket for that first part, and then we've gone on one wash bucket only. We're applying the snow foam directly. We haven't gone with a wash bucket and a rinse bucket like you would do if you were doing it with a dedicated sort of auto wash shampoo. In this case, because we've applied a snow foam, you can get away with that one bucket for doing that, as long as you've done a good job in the first place. So if you've used a good pre-wash, you've got it off really well, your car's not overly dirty. If you're worried about contaminating that water very quickly, or maybe you give this a try and think, oh, actually that water's really turned out dirty pretty quick, I'm bringing a lot of contaminants back to that single bucket, you can always swap. In this case, I've got away with it just fine. We've used a good pre-wash, we've gone through the routine as we would normally, so it's totally fine in using a one bucket method today doing this. In summer, there's obviously never any issues with that, but in winter, just try and be a bit more careful as to what you're doing you don't want to be swirling, scratching, marring and everything, if you can help it. So this is what you actually need then to get that best finish in winter. Touched on it before, those contactless washes, and we've had some discussions in comments and everything on previous videos as to things to do next, stuff to try. What I'm sort of starting, or what I've done is basically I've started off at pH neutrals. You're looking at just a general snow foam, not advertising any amazing cleaning abilities or anything like that. We've then stepped it up to that first level of active foam, if you like, and sort of starting as the pre-washes. We're then going to step up again and see what is the actual best finish you can get. We're still doing a totally contactless wash, and we'll have a look at that in the future on the channel. Today we've obviously gone full wash process to get the absolute best results. It's nice, especially when there's a bit of sun glimmering through. You forget when you're washing in depths of winter, and sometimes it's raining while you're washing, and there's heavy clouds, and you don't really see that. It sort of can take away some of the enjoyment. Depends on your mentality and everything, but there's nothing better than seeing a freshly washed car. You've just finished that DI waterings, so the fleck's back in the paint, you're looking at the metallic, glimmering and shining, and that's what it's all about in terms of you get a bit more enjoyment and you're seeing the fruits of your labour, as it were. So that always adds to the enjoyment and the willingness to want to do this. I know people in the winter, even if they're into this sort of thing, it can fall by the wayside in the winter months when you're in the real depths of what is the point? Is there any point washing? Today at one point it were very light, but we started getting a bit of rain, just spitting, and it's one of those where you go, oh, depths of winter, why am I bothering? I know it's raining again tomorrow. All same things that have coated the car today that I've just washed off, we're going to reapply again, and we're back to square one. You get a week down the line and the thing's absolutely blathered, and you think, oh, I don't know why I bother. But that depends on what you want to do, really. If you still want to keep it in best possible condition and keep up to it, that's always going to help you. If you go months on end without washing, you're going to have real baked in issues. So if you've got untreated, uncoated wheels and everything, and you're blathering them with brake dust and muck and everything for months on end, you're then going to make life hard in the future by not having me mechanically remove that in the first place. So keeping up to them is a good idea. This just makes life easier, just keeping up to it generally. I'd say even if you're washing weekly, even if you wash wheels every 2-3 weeks with sort of full contact wash, dedicated wheel cleaners, contact washing, wheel barrels and everything being done, that's still better than nothing. You have to make that decision for yourself and see how bothered you are for that. So let me know what you think then. What do you do? Are you a 1 bucket, are you a 2 bucket, are you 3 bucket? Obviously we've used 2 today in terms of wheel buckets as well. We've shown 3 before on the channel as well. What's your preference? Let me know what you're like using for your pre-washes, whether you then use a different contact wash soap applied via foam cannon again, or whether you prefer to use a bucket with some auto washing, general things like that, just a car shampoo. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. Like I say, I've done this today. I'm not opposed to anything. I've generally done them all, and sometimes I'll just swap between them just to do something a bit different. So that's it for this week. Hope you've enjoyed. If you're new, I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe, like the video if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time.